The story we'll read in the first unit of the Cambridge Latin course is about a man named Lucius Caecilius Iacundus. We'll just call him Caecilius. The story is set in Pompeii, so you probably know it's not going to have a happy ending. The Roman city of Pompeii was completely buried by an eruption of nearby Mount Vesuvius in August of 79 AD. Vesuvius is still an active volcano, but the eruption that destroyed Pompeii was much larger than anything that has happened there since. In the foreground of this image, you can still see the outline of the much larger mountain that used to be there. The explosion of Vesuvius buried Pompeii under about 6 meters of volcanic rock. Over time, the exact location of the city was forgotten until it was accidentally rediscovered in 1594 by a man who was digging a water channel for an aqueduct. Archaeologists have been excavating the city for almost 300 years. The parts that you see here have yet to be unearthed. Pompeii wasn't a particularly large city by Roman standards. It was much smaller than Rome itself. But just to give you a sense of scale, this amphitheater, where gladiators fought, could seat 20,000 people. But the reason that Pompeii is so important to us has nothing to do with its size and everything to do with the way it was destroyed. Cities that are constantly inhabited, even cities that are gradually abandoned, are constantly changing, right? Buildings are torn down or repurposed, valuables are carted away, everyday items are used up and discarded. It can become very difficult to know much about the daily life of people that lived a long time ago. Pompeii, on the other hand, was sealed up like a time capsule over the space of about 2 days. People left their stuff behind if they managed to get out themselves. So when these houses were gradually excavated, archaeologists found all the stuff that they left behind. And the stuff they found is the source of most of what we know about daily life in the Roman Empire. The jewelry they wore, the furniture they sat on, the food they ate, and the dishes that they ate it on. They also found documents, which brings us back to our friend Caecilius. Caecilius lived in this house right here, which, like most houses in Pompeii, was built right up against the walls of the houses on either side. Here's the view through the front door. It's not a small house. This modern barrier shows us the height of a person. That's a doorknob. Passing through this atrium, you'll come to a large open reception area known as an atrium, and behind that, an office, the tablinum, where archaeologists discovered a chest full of documents. These documents, written on wax tablets, tell us everything we know about Caecilius. Written on wax tablets, they're mostly contracts, giving the details of business transactions between Caecilius and other prominent citizens of Pompeii. Caecilius was an argentarius, a moneylender, a guy who would make large purchases on behalf of other people, only to be paid back over a specified term at a specified rate of interest. We might call him a banker, only he didn't work at a bank. Caecilius owned slaves, but he was himself the son of a man who had been a slave, Lucius Caecilius Felix. This brings us to the subject of this bust, which was discovered at the entrance to Caecilius's office. The bust bore an inscription, "To the spirit of our Lucius." Now, Caecilius and his father were both named Lucius, so it could represent either one of them. But ordinarily, Romans would dedicate these busts to family members who were no longer living. This strongly suggests one of two possibilities. Either this is a bust of Caecilius' father, Lucius Caecilius Felix, or maybe the Caecilius we'll meet in our stories actually died years before the eruption of Vesuvius. The documents found in Caecilius' safe support this second possibility. There are no transactions later than 62 AD, the year of a famous earthquake in Pompeii. The editors of our story have gone with option A, so we'll imagine this as Lucius Caecilius Felix the freedman, Caecilius' father. This at least avoids the necessity of imagining Caecilius staring at a bust of himself in his office every day. especially such an ugly bust. And the last thing I want to talk about is the appearance of these Roman portraits. You see, Romans made these portrait sculptures to recall what their family members actually looked like, using a wax cast of the face, sometimes made after death. So these are really more like photographs than paintings, which is why it would never occur to a Roman to ask a sculptor not to make his ears stand out so much, or his nose so big, or to get rid of the wart on the side of his face. It's one of the things that make the Romans seem so real to me, especially when you contrast them with the portraits done by Greek sculptors, who idealize their subjects and make everyone look like a god. One last fun fact about Greek and Roman statues: they always painted the eyes. Anyway, that's all for now. In my last introductory video, I'll talk about Roman names and how the names applied to Roman men were different from the names they gave to women. Y'all stay safe. Bye.